Hi there everyone, it's Laurel Beard. Welcome to another video. Today I've got 7 ways to use gelatos for you. I love the Faber Castell Gelatos. I have an entire playlist full of old videos I'm linking to right here for you. The first technique I want to show you is the dripping technique. Before I get started, I just wanted to point out that all of the cardstock panels that I'm using today has been primed with white gesso. There's a lot of different gessos on the market. Some can be bought in retail stores like Michael's and Hobby Lobby, also available online. I'll link to a few in the YouTube description. But when you're using gelatos, you really want to take that extra step and prime your cardstock because it creates a blendable, smooth surface for your gelatos. If you've used them and you find that you're not getting a blending, you need to prime your cardstock with gesso. It just takes a few extra seconds and it's definitely worth it. I'm using different colored gelatos here on the top part of my first card panel here. And then I'm going to take my fingers, and gelatos react to moisture, and that includes the oils in your fingers. My fingers were especially dry that day, so I just sprayed a little bit of water and I'm dipping my finger into the water and then just kind of rubbing around a little bit on the top panel of the gelatos just to get them moving. This is some regular water. I am spritzing down in a vertical motion to create those drip looks, and that's going to be this card. You can keep piling on colors of gelato to create very vibrant drip techniques if you want to, but I just wanted to keep everything soft and pretty. So here's my card. I just ran a fun little heart scribbly die cut through the panel here and kind of left the card as is because I love the drippy look. I think it's so cute. Moving on to the second technique with the gelatos, we're going to do some stenciling. So here, again, all of my cardstock is primed with gesso already. I'm just scribbling on just various colors of gelato, and it looks pretty ugly right now. Now here I am trying to blend it. It's not wet, so I wanted to show that in the video, that if that's what's happening if you're using gelatos and it's not blending, A, your panel isn't primed with gesso, and B, you need to use something moist to really get it moving. And you can see how beautifully it blended with very little effort once I made sure that my little rag I was using was wet. This is a stencil from Heffy Doodle, and I'm going to take it, kind of hold it in place, and then here I am just going over some of the color with a yellow gelato to create a pretty sun ray here. The gelatos, when they dry, they are completely permanent. They do take a long time to dry completely, so I just make it a point that anytime I am using gelatos to go ahead and spray a fixative spray over the top. I just use a matte fixative spray. I'll link to it in the description if you're interested, just to make sure everything is locked in. And here's that look, and you can see that I was able to layer gelato on top of gelato and got a really pretty dimensional look here. So you know, you can pile, you can layer it on, I say. And here I just finished off with this little superhero girl here. You can also do a monoprint from what's left on your stencil, so don't wash that stencil off. I'm going to take the stencil with all the gelatos still on there, spray it with some water, flip it over, and stamp, basically. That's pretty much all there is to it. So the gelato will transfer nicely onto your panel and get a great monoprint look. And check this out, I just did a sentiment stamp right over the top of that. Done and done. Now let's do a Stencil Resist, which I think this is cool. I just love this, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably my favorite card out of all of them, and it took very little effort, and I didn't even stamp on it or add any sentiments because I didn't want to mess it up. I just thought it was so pretty. So I'm using 2 different shades of purple here. One is actually a metallic, and you might not be able to tell as it's going down, but you'll see in just a minute. So first I'm just blending on this purple, and you can almost kind of see the metallic kind of showing up. It's the darker spots. And I'm just blending it on. That rag is so well loved. And I tell you, I keep a garbage can off to the side and I just fill it with rags. And when it's full, I just wash them. This is pink. I decided to go ahead and just smear that around there. Anyway, it doesn't look pretty like that, but that's okay because watch what's going to happen. I'm taking a clean area of that rag and I'm just applying some firm pressure. I did not add any water or anything to it. And I'm basically lifting the gelatos right through that stencil. So that's why I call it stencil lifting. So I'm just lifting that color right up. And you see that? Now, if you really want to get in there and get a good a lift, you can add a little bit of water to your rag, which is what I did. And here I am really applying the pressure, and you can see it's almost white there. And then I added a little touch of pink right through the center. And I'm just, again, kind of lifting and go. Look at that. Can we just stop and look at that? I wish I kind of did a freeze frame right here. But let's just look at this. This is so pretty. I did nothing else to this card whatsoever except adhere it to a card base. I didn't even want to put a sentiment on it. I didn't want to put an image on it. I didn't want to do anything. I just think it's so pretty. And that's just from a couple colors of gelatos and a stencil, you know? You could also take a stencil and go over very light-handed to lift it, and then shift it over a little bit to the left or right, and then go over it again and lift it, get a whole totally different look, and I should have done that. Why didn't I do that, you guys? But anyway, this is really pretty. I can go back and add a very simple sentiment if I want to, but for now, I'm just leaving that baby alone because I think it's beautiful. Let's move on to the next technique, which is acrylic blocks, or acrylic block painting to be exact. This is a block from Catherine Pooler. I'm going in with rainbow order. I need to get over my rainbow self, but I'm just rolling with it, and I'm scribbling on the gelatos straight onto this block. And I'm actually going to get two stamps, if you will, or paints, or what paintings, or whatever prints you want to call it out of this. So once I get all the colors on there, I'm going to mist it with some water. You can also mist it with some Perfect Pearls or something like that to get some added shine. You don't always have to use water. They do react to any kind of moisture. And then I'm just stamping down. I'm pressing hard and I'm lifting up. And then I'm going to get kind of this look. Now it's going to create little petals as you see here. So I'm kind of moving that around to get a little bit of a drip technique, but I'm keeping everything in the rectangle. Now the second one, I'm just going to add a little bit of water to reactivate. I'm going to press down and do a little jiggy. See that little jig, 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 jig? And I set this all aside to dry. Now you can use a heat tool if you wanted to, but I didn't. Here's the look at the first one where we just add a lot of water and press straight down. And here's the second one. I think I like this one better with the little jiggy, jiggy, jiggy action. Let's move on to tinting pastes. Any kind of paste, embossing paste, texture paste, even gels, mediums, glues, whatever, you can tint with the gelatos. So here I'm taking some white embossing paste, and I am working off of my tempered glass mat here. If you don't have this, a plastic plate, a glass plate, packaging from your stamp set, anything slippery that's easy to clean up you can use. And whatever color gelato you want to use, and you're just basically creating your own custom colors. So there I added a couple of colors of pink, and I'm mixing it together using these new media spatulas from Tonic. I have a 2-minute tip video. I'm going to put it up right here in case you want to check it out. A lot of people were like, can't you just use a kitchen spatula? Well, you can, but these are made for paper crafters. These are small. They have a great handle. They have the design to get into small, intricate places on your stencil. I just, prefer these over my kitchen spatulas. But anyway, that was one of the common questions. Can't you use a kitchen spatula? Sure, if you want to. But I like these better. These were designed specifically for crafters, and you're about to see them in action here. But I also have a video I'm linking above right here in the corner. All right, so now that I've made these custom colors here by just mixing the paste, now you can actually make custom gelato colors by adding different gelatos and then mixing them together and then adding the paste if you want to. But here you can see I'm going in, and because these are silicone, I'm able to really get in that stencil. This is an intricate stencil with lots and lots and lots of space here to get into. So I just love these things. I dig them, and I'm going back and forth. I mean, you can see I'm going all over the place. But when you lift this up, the dimension that is left from doing this through the stencil, the custom colors that we've created here by mixing the paste with these colored gelatos are just absolutely stunning. I mean, just look at this. I love these colors. I just love, I never thought I was going to like pink and yellow together, but I love it. And I just added a sentiment strip there. Now the U, let me tell you how I did that. And I wish I kept filming. So I die cut that from black cardstock. I applied a heavy application of the Nuvo Aquaflow glitter. And then after that, I added some Tonic Crystal Glaze. And I tell you, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So anyway, here's a look at this card, and I do love it. The last and final technique I wanted to show you is direct stamping with the gelatos. To do direct stamping with gelatos, it's really good to get a stamp that has a lot of detail in it. You don't want a stamp that has a lot of open spaces. So I chose this stamp set. Again, everything I'm using is linked below in the description, but this is the Sketchy Flowers stamp set from the Stamp Market. I am using my Misty stamping tool. It's just easier for placement. Then you can take the gelatos and directly scribble onto your stamps. This is not going to ruin your stamp in any way. You can run it under some water to get all of the gelato off if you're got some intricate areas in here. And since this is a very detailed stamp, I did end up having to run it under the faucet, but it was no big deal. So once I applied the gelato onto the stamp, I spritzed it with water because remember, gelatos are water reactive. And I'm giving it a good press there because I want to make sure that all the gelato transfers to the paper because gelatos are very pigmented sticks, but they're thicker than watercolors. So here I'm going in and adding a couple different flowers to the center, a couple different colors to the center of the flowers, just to add a little bit more fun. And then I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off as best I can. And then, like I said, I did finish cleaning it off in the sink under some cold water. So I went ahead and did the same thing with these stems, scribbled direct to the stamp, add a little bit of water, and then press with them. And again, you can really get some fun looks, very, very watercolor, very artsy looks by mixing and matching your colors. And I love how this turned out, I have to say. To create a little glow around the edge of my card panel, I am just adding the gelato directly to the edge, and then I'm going to blend a little bit of it out with my finger. Now, a little bit's going to get, you see how there's this little red blob down there at the bottom? It's like, argh. But that's because it's not dry. So these are going to react to moisture. So you want to be careful when you're doing different applications and working in different areas, kind of work areas that aren't necessarily side by side to each other so you don't get little blobs like I did here, but it's okay, I'm going to fix it. But just keep that in mind when you're working with gelatos. I love these guys. I just think they're really fun and they're calorie free. This is a white gelato and here I am going in and adding some white, but it almost makes it look aged, if you will. By doing this, because it's, I don't know, I didn't think it was going to make that much of a difference because it's white, but it really took the card to a different level and just made it more aged and, I don't know, antique-y, if you will. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp a sentiment here. Now, definitely use a stamping tool or stamp positioner when you're stamping over the gelatos because the gelatos are, you know, thick and textured. You might not get a perfect impression. So also keep that in mind if you're doing any stamping over the gelatos. I used my Misty for all of the sentiments, and had I not, I would have been up the creek. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it, 7 ways to use the Faber Castell Gelatos. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and click that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload. Thank you guys so much for watching. If there's any specific technique you want to see used in the gelatos, do let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to try it out and make a video. Again, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.